I don't even know how to start talking about this movie. I was definitely looking forward to it. Rajamouli had impressed me with the two Bahubali films, which I love. And one thing I can say about RRR is that I absolutely loved it. And it is an extremely meticulously crafted commercial masala movie that I had a great time watching in the cinema hall. And this video is going to be filled with spoilers, so this is a warning. A young girl from the Gond tribe is taken from her family by the autocratic British Empire, and this is what sets the plot in motion. This film has dual protagonists, Ram and Bheem. Both are wonderfully written and performed characters, and I absolutely loved both of the characters' introduction, as both of them give us an idea of the strengths of the characters but also give us an insight into what kind of people they really are. For Ram, we see him as a police officer working for the British. He has a hero entry scene that showcases his power and strength, but I like the fact that I felt a little mixed about it because he's fighting his own people. The fact that his one punch doesn't send everyone flying was endearing to me, and don't get me wrong, he does have super strength on some level, but we get to see him struggle amidst the battling crowd. The filmmaking is outstanding as we get to see the battle from Ram's perspective, inside, buried by many Indians attempting to kill him. We feel his struggle, and I just loved how Ram still has to face great difficulty to get what he wants. With Bheem's introduction too, we get to see how fast and cunning he is, along with his superhuman strength, but amidst all of this is his kindness, which he shows to the tiger after apprehending him with great difficulty. He's a force to be reckoned with. Both of these characters have a want. After Ram's introduction, we clearly see that he is upset over not being promoted from his current rank as an officer. This is not told to us through exposition, but instead is visually portrayed as we see Ram angrily punching in disappointment. This is his external want, which built anticipation for what his internal personal goal would be. Meanwhile, Bheem too has his own personal goal. The girl that got separated from her tribe in the beginning of the film is who Bheem is searching for, as he is part of that very same tribe. These wants give the characters actual depth and allow for the plot to maintain a sense of momentum, because we know that there's somewhere these characters are headed. These two protagonists begin their friendship through an act of heroism by saving a child. It almost felt like a superhero movie where the hero has to step up their game and act in an urgent situation to save someone in danger. Now, of course, it isn't at all realistic, but Rajamouli creates a world where realism is out of the question. That's the tone the movie portrays, and I was in absolute awe of just the sheer creativity in the action sequences. Through this act of heroism, the two become good friends, and the film really gives us the time to make us care about their friendship. There's an extremely hilarious side plot where Bheem has a crush on one of the English women, and what he loves most about her is her kindness and empathy towards the Indians. Seeing Ram helping Bheem in taking her out for a date was hysterical because we see this muscular beast in a situation that many of us have been in, and it humanizes the character even more. But despite this lovely friendship that blossoms between them, there are layers to it. We know that this friendship isn't going to last very soon once they get to know the truth about each other. When the British realize that an Indian assassin, Bheem, from the Gond tribe, has arrived to murder the governor and free the imprisoned girl, they decide to appoint someone to capture the assassin, and Ram agrees to this. And his decision makes sense because we know that he wishes to be promoted. This is what sets the plot in motion while also planting the seeds for Ram's and Bheem's eventual enmity. We as an audience know both of the characters' truths, so basically we are watching something that will eventually end in violence, and it's very tragic. And later on, when Bheem breaks into the English palace, things come to a place where nothing can be hidden. Bheem's secret is exposed to the English woman he had feelings for, and Ram's secret of being a police officer is revealed to Bheem. And I love that the two characters don't just fight for the sake of it, there's an element of tragedy to it because they don't want to go against each other. But because both of them are so determined to achieve their goals, they have to get each other out of the way in order to get what they want. And I was simply speechless at how imaginative and creative the fight sequences were. The power dynamics between the characters keep shifting, adding to the intensity of the action. The camera stays on the level of the two men, actively moving with them and sharing their energy, maintaining the ferocity of their movements and allowing us as an audience to really feel every move. There's even a fire-water parallel that's continued throughout the rest of the film. Ram represents fire through his anger and rage, meanwhile Bheem represents water through the look of calm on his face, but he too can be dangerous when the situation requires it. And their conflict shows the tussle between fire and water. Later on in the film, this is shown differently when Ram and Bheem fight together against a common enemy, showing the fellowship of the two elements. The editing of the film is also impressive, along with the several handheld shots that allow us to enter the headspace of the character. My personal favorite cut is when Ram is interrogating a friend of Bhim's, and when he begins to question his actions. He takes out the pendant he wears, and it cuts to another hand opening to show the other half of the pendant as we cut to his wife Sita, who's waiting for him. It's just a brilliant way to show their connection through the use of a single effective cut. Eventually, with a flashback, we understand Ram's motivations. The reason why he wished to get promoted. As a child, he had witnessed his entire family get killed by the British, and he wishes to continue to fulfill the promise he had made to his father. Through the use of his power, he wants to send weapons to his village for them to be able to fight back the oppressive British Empire. But I also love that we see Ram conflicted because he feels remorse over fighting his own people in order to achieve his want, and whether achieving it is really even worth it when it comes to betraying your own people. In the end, the two men team up after learning about each other's truths and realize that they are not really dissimilar. The action never ceased to amaze me of how simply clever it is and how inventively it was executed. Many shots just left me in awe of how someone can even think of this, let alone execute it. Physics is defined, but the fight choreography continuity is maintained, allowing me to suspend my disbelief and feeling the intensity of the action. I could not look away from the screen because the geography of the characters, the locations, and the power dynamics remain intact in every single shot, making it easier for us, the audience, to understand what is even happening on screen. By the climax, I will be honest, I became a little immune to the violence because by then I had just seen a little bit too much of it, but the film never lost its emotional impact. The film is also a somewhat reworking of the Ramayana. There's Ram and Sita, and the character of Bhim becomes a version of Hanuman, whose mission is to save someone in captivity. But there are a few tweaks to the Indian mythology here that gives the film its own unique flavor. It's a film about how two superhuman men, reminiscent of Hindu deities, come together to try and end the oppressive rule of a common enemy. RRR is director Rajamouli's magnum opus. Is it better than the Bahubali films? I don't know, but this film clearly shows that this is a director who is an absolute master of his craft and clearly knows what he set out to make and just does it. It's a committed masala film that doesn't simply bank on the viability of its big stars with void scripts. Instead, it's a great film where the actors serve the brilliance of the screenplay that can be analyzed and broken down to find layers in its symbolism accompanied by the talented people behind the camera. This film contains some of the best filmmaking I've seen this year, and I would love to see what Rajamouli has set in store for us next, because this is a director I believe in and his capability to tell stories with his outstanding cast and crew that brings his extraordinary vision to life. So to those who are wondering, this video is actually a re-upload. Basically, what happened is my RRR video was out for a week with a copyright claim from Pen India Limited, its owners, and copyright claim is fine by me because it's not like I'm earning anything as of now, right? And after a week or so, they blocked my video worldwide, which is pretty weird, and I filed a dispute against it and they rejected my dispute. Funnily enough, they rejected my dispute while I was watching RRR in theaters for a second time, and then later on I just wrote them a mail about removing the block, and they can keep the copyright claim because it's not like I'm doing anything. And it's been days and they still never responded, and I wanted to get this review out, and a lot of people who had seen RRR way after my video was uploaded were wanting to see my thoughts on it, but they couldn't because it got blocked worldwide. So yeah, I had to re-edit it with images this time and not footage. But yeah, this is how it is. This is what I'm dealing with. So yeah, thank you for watching.